Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first Model of a Journey webinar. In London, we have Stefan Ott, Hamish, and in UAE, we have Dr. Robert Barnes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Robert, Stefan, Hamish, why don't you tell our audience who you are and what you do? Robert, first of all, over to you in UAE.
Well, how do you do? This is Dr. Robert Barnes speaking. I'd like to thank Herbie and Mondo Visioni for inviting a humble practitioner to address such a distinguished audience. My background is 30 years in the capital markets. I started in 1994 at what became UBS for nearly 20 happy years, and then recently nearly a decade at London Stock Exchange Group. I had the privilege to run two successful regulated multilateral trading facilities as the founding CEO of UBS MTF from 2010 to 2013. And then from 2013, for nearly a decade, the CEO of Turquoise, where one connection enabled one to trade 20 countries worth of securities and settle into the respective countries. I'm currently the co-CEO of BPX, which is a new venture, which is seeking to bring innovations to the real estate market through tokenization. Thank you very much.
Stefan, now I've seen you before, I think, in a former life. So who you are, yes, of course, and what do you do these days?
Yeah, Stefan Ott. I also have a background in computer science, but started actually my career working at a stock exchange. Was responsible for the market data and information products, one of which you can still see on television nowadays with the DAX, the German share display board, which is still alive even after 35 years. Then I moved on to work for a news agency, Reuters, later Thomson Reuters, mainly responsible in various capacities and roles for their market data distribution products and technology around content acquisition, content contribution, and distribution. Then joined IBM for a couple of years, worked there also in the financial services sector, responsible for their products in that space until 2016, when I acquired software from IBM, which actually was built for stock exchanges, which hopefully we'll be talking about later as well, which allows for low latency messaging infrastructures to be built trading systems upon.
Thanks, Stefan. Next we turn to Hamish. Hamish.
Hello, good afternoon, Herbie, and afternoon to everyone who's listening as well. So I'm Hamish Shadurian, Head of Sales Marketing at Sinara. So I joined Sinara back in 2006, straight out of university. Well, actually, I studied computer science. It's a great background there to have computer science and physics, actually. But I've done less with the physics. I've done less with the physics. So I started as a software engineer at Sinara and spent around 10 years building many types of systems I'm sure we'll be talking about this afternoon. Market data, distribution systems, trading platforms, market surveillance, a whole range of operational systems across the trade life cycle. So built up that experience, always had an interest in the business side of things, the business side of software, and gradually moved over to that kind of more consultancy role, working more closely with clients to understand about their business requirements and how to translate that into software solutions. And then gradually moved over into sales, and now I head up our small sales team at Sinara and work closely with our clients and prospects to really build the next generation of trading platforms and new solutions.
Thanks, Hamish. Now, as I said before, technology is probably too important to leave to technologists. No offense meant, gentlemen, but that's the way it is. I myself used to be a technologist. In fact, when I moved from technology to marketing, product management, they said that I'd gone to the dark side. I'm not sure they said that to you, Hamish, but that's what they used to tell me. Now, Robert, you have been a market practitioner. You've run markets. Why is technology so important to financial markets and to the capital markets?
Well, thank you, Herbie. So really, what technology is a great enabler. Where technology can, technology will. And we think back, it's only really 30 young years ago when I started, pre-internet, where memos were typed on paper, copied, and distributed, where trades on the open outcry trading floor with the hand signals could take up to 1.5 minutes to trade. Well, with the introduction of the internet and the subsequent electronification of stock exchanges worldwide, we saw a really significant growth in the scale and size of activity. And what's really important, and I think to Herbie's opening remarks, is that the combination, the intersection of the legal contract under which we engage as trading partners, plus the ability of technology, really allows the business to grow. And I'll just give a simple example. On anonymous order books, where I might lift someone's offer or someone might hit my bid, because of the presumption of enforceability of legal contract, that confers confidence in that marketplace. It is the ability of technology then to significantly scale that activity and, through a well-designed market structure, deliver scale efficiencies to market participants and ultimately end investors. Thank you.
Okay, so as Robert said, technology has been an enabler for many of the things that we've seen in financial markets. I come from a background where, when I started, we had like paper tape, we had punch cards, which you guys probably haven't seen before. Stefan probably has, but certainly not Hamish. When I started, a very fast feed from the markets was something like 1,200 bits per second. Okay, which you can't. In fact, even paper tape was probably 50 baud or something like that. Now, you two gentlemen, Stefan and Hamish, in your businesses, you are probably having to respond to changes in regulation and what technology can do for clients. What sort of things are your clients asking you to do for them? First of all, turning to Stefan, when a client comes to you, typically, what is it that they're asking you to do for them?
Okay, so yes, the typical clients are stock exchanges around the world. Their requirement is to build a fair trading space and place. And fairness, I think, is one of the key aspects, so that all have a level playing field. And I was also one participating or joining an exchange when there was still an open outcry. So how could you possibly build a fair digitalized version of an open outcry platform? And this is what I think our customers are demanding, stock exchanges are demanding. So other than lowest latency possible to be the fastest, the first one actually will only get or hit the trade. That's then also about fairness, which comes with the confidence, as Robert mentioned, to have this as an agreed and fair marketplace, so that the level playing field.
Yeah. Well, you raised the topic there of fairness, which is something I'll come back to Robert for in a few minutes, but because fairness means different things to different people. In that one person's fairness is another person's unfairness. Turning next to Hamish, what is it typically that your clients come to you for to do?
Sure. I think you can probably categorize that in a few different areas. So one may be where, and I think we'll expand on this in the conversation, where there's some kind of an internal issue. Now, typically that's usually some kind of risk, whether it's manual risk, some kind of market risk that's been identified, regulatory risk, or any other sort of internal business risk that's been identified. And something needs to be done, typically, hopefully from our point of view, by a technology solution to address those risks, improve workflow, reduce inefficiencies, help with that scalability that Robert was talking about as well. So that we can think of that as being something more internal. So you create some kind of software solution that staff within the business, and perhaps to some extent customers as well, which is an interesting concept in and of itself, will be using to really push their business forward, improve how they do things, and fundamentally transform the business operations. Another area we can think of as being more external in a sense. The business is looking, whether it's an exchange, broker, clearinghouse, different market participants, they're looking to launch some kind of a new service to market. We've worked on similar sort of digital platforms as well. That's certainly an area of big interest. And that's where you clearly need some kind of technology to underpin that. The actual setting up of whether it's a new contract, a new exchange, a new trading platform, is in itself a huge amount of activity. And often, in a funny sort of way, the technology is only one small element of it. But of course, it's a huge amount of work. And certainly we're brought in to help with the business to actually set that up and deliver it. I suppose another area you could think of is where you actually do already have some kind of an existing system, a legacy platform, legacy IT system. That's sort of done the job for many years, seems to work. I mean, a number of conversations I've had over the years where people will say, yeah, we're actually quite happy with it. But then 2 years later, when we replace it, they'll say, oh, I can't believe we were actually using that thing at all. So the replacement of legacy systems is also another sort of big area where we do a lot of work.
But I guess sometimes the market doesn't always know what it wants. Do you find that that's a big problem? Robert, does the market always know what it wants, or is it used to, okay, this has always worked, it's worked for the last 20 years like this, why do we need to change? Is that a typical attitude within the marketplace?
Well, I think we are really privileged to work in our finance industry because it really is a community spirit trying to solve problems to make markets more efficient and ultimately deliver for the end investor. And I think why technology is so special as an enabler, it can really take advantage of a kind of a local economic environment. I'll give you a perfect example. I think many will remember in 1999, the introduction of the euro. And it was from that point, there was the ability to launch a product. And here I give credit to Deutsche Börse and Eurex for launching the Euro Stocks futures, which started with no activity and ultimately grew to become super successful, the most liquid contract in Europe. The other thing about the technology is, as I mentioned, whereas manual trades may be measured in minutes and seconds, today we are time stamping the precision of equity trades to 1 microsecond, 1/1,000,000th of a second. All of that activity is fully auditable. The ability through technology connectivity, and this is where I think colleagues like Hamish and Stefan can speak, it widens the addressable universe of investors, and it also widens the diversity of products available in order to build more robust portfolios and more efficiently transfer risk. Thank you very much.